Every sisterhood has its rules, and at Free Eden, the exclusive boutique in Shudder's original movie Forbidden Fruits, breaking them gets a lot more dangerous than just a bad performance review. Welcome to Scary World, where I walk you through the best, the worst, and the downright disturbing. I'm Arturo Padilla.
Hi.
Let's get into it. Free Eden looks like any exclusive mall boutique, but it hides a secret coven. When a new hire starts asking questions, the sisterhood turns on itself and there's no clocking out.
I know yesterday was whack, but it's really not my fault because I Googled it and Mercury was in retrograde. So there you go.
The first category is production. Does this movie look good? Is it well executed? This is where the movie leaves the most on the table. It has a flat, almost 90s look to it. It's less of a stylistic choice and more of a lack of one. I kept wishing for more vividness, more color, more intent in the frame. There's not much artistic ambition on display. The camera does its job and that's about it. For a story built on dread and ambiguity, the visuals never pull their weight. A more daring eye could have turned restraint into atmosphere instead of just this plainness that we get here. This was originally a play, and the stage origins might explain some of it, but that's also exactly where making this into a film should have added something the play couldn't. For production, Forbidden Fruits gets a 0 out of 2. I really wish they had added some more interesting visuals into this movie. There are several scenes in this movie where it could have used a nice visual pop, especially because in this movie, we deal with a lot of makeup, a lot of different kinds of clothing, a lot of different clothing materials, and I feel that having more color and more vividness in the shot would have added something more to the overall package. The execution was a bit off, and I think even color correcting it in post would have done something a little extra with this movie. The next category is story. Does everything make sense? Does it keep you engaged? There's a good story in here with genuinely interesting characters, and its stage roots keep everything tight and self-contained. But it never generates the tension that it should. Things stay flat when the premise is clearly built for suspense. The pacing rushes when it could have slowed down a little bit more to let these characters breathe. A beat or two more with these characters would have really gone a long way. The central question of what's really going on inside the sisterhood lingers in a good way, and the film keeps you guessing right up to the end. For story, Forbidden Fruits gets a 1 out of 2. I really liked the story in here. It had a good concept, it had good characters, good character development on top of that, and I feel if they would have just given these characters a little bit more to chew on, I think this movie would have definitely stood out a little bit more. The next category is ensemble. Do these characters have chemistry? Are the performances any good? This is the clear highlight of the movie. The lead actresses play off each other beautifully and the performances hit even harder. Victoria Pedretti in particular is excellent in this movie. She shows real range and reminds you exactly why she's one of the best actresses in horror today. Lily Reinhart, who portrays Apple, is a standout too, anchoring the tension that drives the whole thing. The only knock that I have is that the script doesn't carve out enough individual moments for everyone to shine. This is a cast that earned more spotlight than the runtime gives them. For ensemble, Forbidden Fruits gets a 2 out of 2. I really enjoyed the entire ensemble in this movie. Everyone was cast perfectly. I just wish they had more for them to do. These actresses are super talented and they're able to showcase that on the screen. This is why I wish they had a lot more character work, a lot more character development, a lot more solo scenes for them to really shine. The next category is horror. Is it scary? Does it deliver the goods? The blood and gore when it finally lands is quite satisfying and all practical, but it's saved almost entirely for the last act of the movie. The way the story unfolds doesn't naturally lend itself to gore, so the horror arrives later rather than building throughout. What the movie really needed though wasn't more blood, it wasn't more gore, but more tension and more suspense laced throughout the whole thing. The kind of dread that builds and not one that waits till the very end. For horror, Forbidden Fruits gets a 1 out of 2. That third act really showcased some really nice practical effects, but that's why I kind of wish they had sprinkled some of this good stuff all throughout the movie. We have to wait till the very end, the last 10 or 15 minutes or so, to really see some blood, to really see some gore. But also, I really wish they would have built that suspense and tension all through the first act and all through the second act. We have to wait till the very end to really get any semblance of horror in this movie. The last category is legacy. Does this movie leave a mark on the genre? Will anyone remember this 5 years from now? Forbidden Fruits was a fun movie, but it needed more of everything. Better visuals, some more story, a lot more horror, and more room for the talent to flex. There's a real movie here and a cast really worth watching, but it leaves too much of its potential on the table. For legacy, Forbidden Fruits gets a 1 out of 2. They needed to inject a lot more horror into this movie and a lot more moments for the actresses to really come through, because what we get is good, but I know they could have pulled off a lot better. Now let's add it all up. For production, Forbidden Fruits got a 0. For story, a 1. For ensemble, a 2. For horror, a 1. And for legacy, another 1. Bringing the total to a 5 out of 10. This movie had a great cast, but everything else could not keep up with them. It's worth a watch for the performances, but you'll wish that everything else hits as hard as they do. If you're interested, this movie is now available on Shudder. Go check it out. I'm Arturo Padilla, and remember, it's a scary world out there, but I am here to walk you through it. See you next time.